I'm not sure what's up with my parents' house, whether it's the squeaky doors and floors, or the paper-thin walls. All that I know is that the house was always weird. I faintly remember I faintly remember walking around my room, monitoring all the corners of my room, to make sure that no creatures would appear in the cold night. Obviously I was overreacting. I was just a kid after all. But the scary memory still haunts me, and even though I remember little about it, it just brings some form of fear to me that I still don't quite understand. I feel like if I get this story out, it'll make me feel a little better, but I'm honestly not too sure myself. But regardless, hopefully you'll find some enlightenment. Hopefully you'll find it somewhat enlightening. I just can't help but feel like I'm missing something here. Though, that being said, I do remember waking up around 4 in the morning and waking up to what looked like a weird amalgamation of faces and bodies. I think it goes without saying I was scared. The creepy thing is, though, it would sort of move in a radical and sporadical way, as if it would crawl on all fours and begin to crawl around each and individual wall with striking precision. It didn't really do much, but in the moonlight, in the faint moonlight that was even there in my room in the first place, it would sort of bend over and jump, as if it was in some kind of pain whenever it moved. It also seemed like it was twitching in the darkness, and that really unsettled me. It actually unsettled me enough to a point where I wanted to move, but I just couldn't. After a while of laying there, it would occasionally, albeit very quietly, move over to the direct proportion of where my head was. I just faintly remember lying on my bed and trying my best not to be scared by the uncanny resemblance to some kind of a dead corpse. Its mouth would move unnaturally, as if it had wires coming down the jaw and was connecting it to the rest of its head. Its voice was somewhat raspy and old, as if it couldn't keep up with the words it was saying, and it tried to pronounce them desperately. But the worst thing about it all, even though of course it smelled like death itself, was its breath. It was this tangy, looming thing that would always hang over you. It was like the sort of thing where, if you imagine rotten food being put into a blender and little chunks of brain matter from a freshly dead corpse into a blender and began to churn it. Just imagine that combination of things. Regardless, it was still pretty creepy, and I just remember briefly trying to get over it, but even then, to this day, I can't really get over it myself. Aside from that, I don't remember anything else. However, I may or may not update this story. After all, I do feel like I'm missing some things, but hopefully you guys can find some enlightening in this, and that, after all, childhood monsters aren't that scary anymore, right? Especially considering the fact that they are most definitely not real and they cannot harm us, but at the same time, I just don't feel as if I'm safe. But if I do remember anything, I will update you. Until then, I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope you all have sweet dreams and that nothing disturbs you.